Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I wanted to talk about this ridiculous article that I actually read the other day. And this article is a few weeks old, but I'll link it down below. So I was looking up like gaming controversies, gaming news, and I come across this from The Conversation. You wouldn't hit a dog, so why kill one in Minecraft? Why violence against virtual animals is an ethical issue? And I was so confused by this at first. I thought that this may have been fake, but reading through the article, violence against animals in video games is ubiquitous. Players can kill or torture animals in various popular games, including Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto 5. The rise of this increasingly realistic trend in video games, along with people's tendency to go along with it, raises important questions. Now, first of all, I don't know what they're talking about, that you can torture animals in these games. In these games, yes, there's animals in Minecraft and in GTA. In Minecraft, the animals are just pixelated. In Grand Theft Auto, the animals are more realistic, but you can't really torture them. You can just kill them. And the whole point of them being in the world is because they add more life and immersion to the world. That's the whole point of animals being in Grand Theft Auto 5, and they're not even in GTA Online. You can hunt them in single player for money, but you can't really torture them. And when they say go along with it, what are they talking about specifically? The game doesn't encourage you to just murder animals. Violence against humans in video games has been contentious, underpinned by the never-ending debate over whether on-screen violence begets the real thing. But violence against animals in video games has attracted considerably less attention. Okay, first of all, there is no never-ending debate over whether on-screen violence begets the real thing. The only people that are starting up this debate are people that are ignorant. So many studies have shown that there is no link between video game violence and real-world violence. There is no link. So do you honestly think that if there's no link between real-world violence between humans, that there's going to be some link between abusing animals in video games? The thing just makes no sense. In a recently published paper, we argue that there is good reason to think violence against animals in video games is problematic, perhaps even more so than in game violence against humans. We think game violence against animals is likely to promote disrespect for their living counterparts. Oh my god. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually mentioned later in this article, but how many players have played Red Dead Redemption 2? You played the single player, you played the online. I have killed hundreds to possibly thousands of animals in Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Online, and I have never once wanted to abuse an animal. I have never once wanted to hurt an animal. So we think game violence against animals is more likely to promote disrespect for living counterparts. Red Dead Online is one of my most played games. I am ranked 330 on the game. I have never wanted to hurt an animal, and I never will want to hurt an animal. And I believe that anyone who abuses an animal, hurts an animal, should be thrown in prison. I have no toleration for people that abuse animals. So this idea that just because you play a game where you can kill animals, that you're going to go around in real life and want to hurt animals, that's absolute nonsense. That's just stupidity. No person is going to sit down and play Red Dead Redemption and then say that they're going to want to hurt animals. It just doesn't happen. In 2005, Australia banned the first-person shooter called Postal 2, in which players could mutilate and desecrate virtual human bodies. Australia has been controversially banned several games available in other countries because of depictions of violence and other potentially objectionable themes. Now, look, a lot of countries, not just Australia, have banned violent video games, really violent games out there. I don't think that these governments have the right to ban these violent video games. I think it's up to the consumer whether they want to play it or not. Like there's the whole Manhunt controversy, for instance. Now, if somebody doesn't like the game, you just simply don't play it. But a government trying to regulate the game industry and trying to ban games, that's ridiculous. Telling people, oh, you can only play this game you can't play. It's nonsense. People have different games that they like to play. Some people like this game, some people like that game. It's the government. I don't think should be in any position to tell people what game they can and can't play. Players evidently have varying views on harming virtual animals. Some express concern or remorse. One gamer wrote on a forum, "It's weird how I feel bad about killing animals in the game. I will actively try and shoot guys off horses instead of just shooting the horses." Now, he's talking about Red Dead Redemption here, most likely. In Red Dead Redemption, you can shoot the NPCs off their horse, or you can actually shoot their horse and they'll actually fall and die. And you can actually, when you actually harm animals, for no reason in Red Dead Redemption, you actually lose honor for that. So if you go to like a farm and you just kill a bunch of animals, you'll lose honor for that. Even if you kill an animal in the wild and it's wounded and you don't mercy kill the animal, you lose honor for that, for not putting it out of its misery. And if you shoot horses, you lose honor for that. So the game's basically saying that you are a bad person. So in a way, there are punishments, and the article does actually mention the honor system a little bit later. I'll read through that, but this is just ridiculous. And let's keep reading here, because we have another quote from another person here. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, itself a somewhat troubled organization, has criticized games it says promote hurting and killing animals. Examples include whale hunting in Assassin's Creed and fishing and catching bugs in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Now, first of all, I can speak on Assassin's Creed because I've played both Assassin's Creed Black Flag and I've played Assassin's Creed Rogue. They're most likely referring to those two games. In those two games, you can hunt whales, you can throw a spear, and you can catch a whale in that game. Now, here's the thing about it. Those games are set. One game is set over 300 years ago in the age of piracy. Another game is set during the French and Indian War, which that would have been about 270 years ago. And in this time period, yes, they hunted whales. They hunted whales. It was a living for some people. It was an activity that was in the game. You had the option of participating in the activity. The game didn't force you to do it. You had an option, and then you could sell the whale. You could also use it for crafting. It had its purposes in Assassin's Creed. But when I played Assassin's Creed, I played both Rogue and Black Flag. I never ever wanted to go whale hunting just because I played it in the game. It was just an activity in the game, and you can also kill sharks. So this idea that somebody's going to start hunting whales in Assassin's Creed and they're going to want to do it in real life, it's just not true. And then they're mentioning Animal Crossing. Now, I haven't played Animal Crossing, but I know Animal Crossing. I've seen gameplay of it. And fishing and catching bugs in Animal Crossing New Horizons, I don't understand how that's encouraging animal abuse in any way. Fishing and catching bugs. Animal Crossing is a game for everyone. It's not a violent game at all. It's a game for everyone. It's a game for both children and adults, and I have not once. And the game is kind of like cartoony themed. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but anybody that's played Animal Crossing knows what I'm talking about. It's a kid-friendly and both adult-friendly game. It's not violent in any way. I don't know what they're talking about. Other players have no such qualms. However, with one writing, I kill humans in games all the time. Why would I care about animals? And this guy here brings up a good point, but when you kill humans in games, oftentimes they're trying to kill you. Animals sometimes will try to kill you, but at the same time, they're both, they're virtual. They're not real. Now, this quote here is actually pretty good. Now, a lot of these games, you'll be fighting different humans. You will also have the option to kill animals. So, if the game is telling you that it's fine to kill human NPCs, then why wouldn't it be fine to kill animal NPCs? And a lot of games give you specific reasons on killing animals. There's very few games that I know out there where there is no purpose in killing animals. And every game that they've mentioned right here, except Minecraft, I don't know too much about it, but Assassin's Creed, Animal Crossing, Grand Theft Auto, killing animals in those three games has specific rewards for you. In Grand Theft Auto, there's a hunting activity for killing the animals. In Animal Crossing, they had the fishing and the catching bugs. And in Assassin's Creed, when you went after the whales, you could sell their skins or you could craft with them. So there were specific uses for that. And just like in Red Dead Redemption, there is specific uses for that. You can do so many things with hunting animals. You can craft. You can use certain animals first to craft outfits for you, which will actually keep you warm. You can, on top of that, you can sell their pelts. You can sell their pelts to Gush or to the butcher. You can also bring it back to your camp, which then you can use for the camp business. Or you can also take their meat and you can actually cook with their meat. So there are specific uses that these animal parts have in the game. The game isn't encouraging you to just go around and abuse animals. Many share this view. Video game amoralists say abusing animals or humans in video games can't be wrong, as the victims are virtual and no living being is hurt. And when they say amoralist, they're talking about somebody that doesn't know the difference between somebody that doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, somebody that basically has no morals. So they're basically saying that video gamers at this point have no morals. These games are virtual. These are not real life. You are fighting NPCs in a lot of these games. And also, I'd like to point out that a lot of video games out there, the animals are also the enemy. How many video games are there where there's also friendly, peaceful animals, but there's also animals that will rip you to shreds? And if you don't defend yourself, you get killed. So how many games are like that there? These are virtual humans. These are virtual animals. The game isn't encouraging you to just go out and murder animals. I don't know any game that is encouraging that type of behavior. So this is nonsense. So what are these people talking about specifically here? It's not clear exactly why players feel so differently about in-game violence attitudes towards in-game violence may be shaped by personal views, social mores, gaming culture, and also the amount someone plays violent games. Now look, I have played violent video games my entire life, since I was basically 5 or 6 years old, so 20, 21 years, and I have never once thought that violence was okay. I have never once wanted to hurt anyone. So this idea that violent video games are contributing to real-world violence, there's no evidence for that. It's nonsense. Every study that comes out there pretty much shows there's no link between them. And on top of that, studies that show that violent video games do cause real-world violence, they are much more likely to be published and printed by the media than articles that show that there is no link. You know why? Because it gains more attention. When the media can publish stories saying that video games cause violence, that's when they can give themselves more attention. If video games can promote particular ethical messages, could certain games encourage disrespect for living things? I don't know one game that encourages disrespect for living things. Not even Grand Theft Auto does that. In Grand Theft Auto, you're not really even supposed to just go out and kill people. You know, you have an option of doing that, but the game wants you to just make money, be a successful criminal. That's the whole point of the game. So I don't even know one game that encourages disrespect for living things. Social scientists have long debated whether video games cause antisocial attitudes towards other people. Some think they might, but conclusive evidence for a casual link is lacking. The moral issue of violence against animals in video games has received much less philosophical attention, maybe because it's nonsense and there's no evidence for it. Both animals and humans are often portrayed as objects to kill and harm for fun and gaming. However, animals are presented in an even more disposable way. They are often mere tools for players to kill, complete quests, or to gain materials and trophies. This is true even for games in which players are encouraged to reflect morally on their in-game actions. In Dragon Age Inquisition, the game's characters will approve or disapprove of a wide variety of player actions, but harming non-aggressive wild animals is not one of the things that promotes a moral reaction. While societal respect for animals is growing, albeit slowly, animals today are routinely treated very badly. We can find them in the factory farms, put them on live export ships where many suffer and even die, and humanely kill unwanted companion animals. Now what this article is bringing up here at the end, they're talking about real-world issues with animals. Don't bring this up with video games. If you want to publish a story about this, about like the factory farms and everything like that, go ahead. Very few people are going to oppose you. But when you're comparing animal abuse in the real world, and you're comparing like problems that happen with killing animals in the real world, and you're comparing that to video games and saying that video games encourage this, that's nonsense. I don't know one person that encourages animal abuse because they've played these video games. It's nonsense, and these reporters are just completely out of touch, and I guarantee you the majority of these people don't even play these games or know these games when they publish this story. Many of us ignore these realities. Morally speaking, animals are relatively invisible to society, whereas other humans generally are not. In this context, depicting animals as disposable commodities in video games could reinforce disrespect towards them, at least for many players. Some games may help normalize the mistreatment and moral invisibility of animals. So video games can in fact reinforce disrespect for animals. Does this mean we should ban or boycott them? We don't advocate that. However, it would be useful for scientists to investigate whether video games do help or hinder social respect for animals. No, it wouldn't help because it would be a giant waste of time. And if scientists investigated that, I'll tell you exactly what scientists would find. You know what they would find? They would find that there is no link between animal abuse and playing video games. Anybody that goes and plays a video game and then starts abusing animals, that person had major issues before they played the video game. They already have problems before they played the game. And studies have shown this. Crazy people that play video games and then go and do something bad in the real world have had problems before they even played the game. No person is going to play a game and say that they're going to want to hurt animals afterwards or even hurt people. It is nonsense. Game designers may also consider depicting animals in ways that encourage or at least don't inadvertently discourage respecting them. Some already do this in Red Dead Redemption. Killing your horse leads to the same loss of honor points as killing an innocent person. Well, at least they brought that up in Red Dead Redemption, that you lose honor. Finally, players themselves could choose to become more aware of how animals are portrayed in various games they spend hours of their lives absorbed in. Given the enormous popularity and ongoing transformation of video games, there's an opportunity here for all of us to reassess our often unjust treatment of animals. When they say us, our unjust treatment of animals, I'm not treating animals unjustly. I don't think anybody should be abusing animals. If anybody abuses animals, I think they should go to prison. I think almost everyone can agree with me on that. So when they're saying us, our often unjust treatment of animals, what are they talking about? I'm not complacent in any kind of animal abuse, and by me playing video games, I have nothing to do with any kind of animal abuse. It's nonsense. But let me know what you guys think down below of this. I just had to cover this story because it's just so ridiculous. There's so many articles that complain about violence against human NPCs, but now they're complaining about violence against animal NPCs. It's all virtual. It's not real. You're not killing real people. You're not killing real animals. These people are probably making articles and stories like this just for clickbait so that they get attention. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, do my content, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.